And my answer is yes. Yes. Now let me tell you how. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. If this is your first time of stopping by on my channel, hi, my name is Agozie. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for coming back. In today's video, I'm going to be answering the famous question: is it possible to work and use the money you made from your job and pay your tuition and living expenses as an international student living in Canada? So that is what this video is all about. So sit tight and enjoy this video, okay? Don't go anywhere. Now watch this video to the end to know what my answer is. So there are lots of factors that come into play in terms of using your earnings to pay your tuition and support yourself in Canada. Now, one of the factors is your tuition. If you are making plans to come to Canada, you are in the process of getting admission, you are still doing your research, you've not made a decision on the school you're going to. Now, one of the things you should consider is applying to a school that has a very affordable tuition for your program. If you plan on sponsoring yourself in Canada, if you plan on seeing yourself through school when you come to Canada, how much is your tuition? Okay, how much are you expected to pay for the period of years you're supposed to study in this school, or the period of years you're supposed to do this program for? Tuition is one of the things you should consider before choosing a school. Tuition, ranking, and all of that, but tuition is very, very important. Always go for a school that has an affordable tuition. Another thing again in terms of tuition is, do you already have your first year tuition or your first semester tuition paid or already saved in the bank, that you know that this money is for my tuition? All right, so it's very, very advisable to have your tuition, even if it's your first year, even if it's the first semester, even if it's 1.5 semester. Just make sure you have that tuition down. Now, this is achievable. If you have this tuition down, you know that when you come to Canada, you can be able to work, because one semester in school here is 4 months. At least if you're able to work like your whole first year, you know that the money you are making is towards your second year tuition. So this way you know that, yes, my first year I'm working towards saving my second year tuition. You know that your second year tuition is going to be funded by you, which is what you're already working towards. So if you plan yourself this way, settling your first year tuition or part of your first year tuition, or having the money down, you know that when you come, you are working towards saving the upcoming tuition, the upcoming term's tuitions. So you know that you don't have to be struggling, you don't have to be having so much anxiety, feeling that, oh, you are owing money, how do you settle this? Once that first year tuition is covered and you know you are saving towards the second year, it eases things a little bit for you, okay? And this also boils down to what I said initially. Make sure the school you intend going to has an affordable tuition that you can afford when you work. The second factor to consider is the minimum wage of the province you are going to. Which province are you going to? What is the minimum wage of that province? Minimum wage is the lowest amount of money an employer can pay you. There are 13 provinces in Canada and each province has their own minimum wage. I have my laptop over here, so I'm going to be telling you guys what the minimum wage of these 13 provinces are in 2023. Currently, Alberta has a minimum wage of $15 an hour. British Columbia has a minimum wage of $16.75 an hour. Manitoba has a minimum wage of $14.15 an hour, which is going to increase to $15.30 an hour by October 1st, 2023. New Brunswick has a minimum wage of $14.75 per hour. Newfoundland has a minimum wage of $14.50 an hour, which is going to increase to $15 an hour by October 2023. Northwest Territories have a minimum wage of $15.20 an hour. Nova Scotia has a minimum wage of $14.50 an hour, which is going to increase to $15 an hour by 1st of October 2023. Nunavut has a minimum wage of $16 an hour. Ontario has a minimum wage of $15.50 an hour, which is going to increase to $16.55 an hour by 1st of October 2023. Prince Edward Island has a minimum wage of $14.50 an hour, which is going to increase to $15 an hour by 1st of October 2023. Quebec has a minimum wage of $15.25 an hour. Saskatchewan has a minimum wage of $13 an hour currently, but is going to increase to $14 an hour by October 2023, and is also going to increase again to $15 an hour by 1st of October 2024, which is a year after this October, right? Yukon, which is the province that has the highest minimum wage in Canada, has a minimum wage of $16.77 an hour. So with that being said, I've listed all the provinces in Canada that has the minimum wage and the dates that this minimum wage is going to be increased in these provinces. So it's very, very good that when you're looking for a school to apply, when you're looking for a school, when you're researching on the school to go to, make sure you take into consideration the province you're going to, and also familiarize yourself with the minimum wage of this province. Okay, now the reason why I'm talking about minimum wage is because so you have in mind that this is the lowest amount of money an employer in this province can pay you. Okay, let's say you're going to a province that has like a minimum wage of less than $15 an hour. You know that if you get a minimum wage job, that is the amount of money you are going to be earning. Now there's a new rule that applies to international students to work full-time, and this policy is set to expire by the end of the year. I just pray it doesn't expire, because it's been helping a lot of international students save money to take care of themselves, tuition, living expenses, and all of that. And I also pray that it doesn't end, so that people coming in September 2023 and also January, and also their future students coming to study in Canada can benefit from this policy. So knowing the minimum wage of the province, you are going to know that if you get a minimum wage job, for example, you know that this is the amount of money you are going to be paid by your employer. And you also know that, you also like do your math. Let's say you're working, say 30 hours a week. You can calculate, just like a rough math, and know that this is like on an average, this is the amount of money you can be making for yourself. You know, you can be able to make, and also you can be able to save, towards your tuition. So it's very, very important to put the province you're going to into consideration. Apart from knowing the minimum wage of the province you're going to, another reason why you should take into consideration the province you're going to is in terms of standard of living. Every province have their own standard of living. For example, if you're coming from Nigeria, you cannot compare the standard of living in Enugu to the standard of living in Abuja. Obviously, the house rents are more expensive in Abuja than compared to Enugu. So you should also consider this when you're choosing a school or the province you're going to. If you want to go to Ontario, just have in mind that you may get an accommodation that may be expensive compared to if you're going to a province maybe like Newfoundland or Nova Scotia. So yeah, very, very important. Consider the province you're going to when you are trying to choose a school, and if you plan on paying your tuition yourself, so you don't spend all your earnings on living expenses and not be able to save towards your tuition. The third factor I'm going to be mentioning is the program you're coming to study. If you're coming to study a program, let's say you're coming here to study a diploma program, or you're coming here to study BSc, you're coming here to study masters, PhD, and all of that, make sure that you go through the schedule of this, this program. If you've decided on the school you are going to, make sure you kind of like go through what the schedule is kind of like. I know that in my school, which is Northwest College, before I came to Northwest College, before I applied at Northwest College, I saw all the list of courses and the time interval I'm going to do these courses. Like from this month to this month, I'm going to do this course. From this month to this month, I'm going to do this course. That way I was able to decide, okay, am I going to be able to have time to work so much in order to make good money to support myself in school? Okay, and I think you should also consider that. Now, if you're coming to do a very time-consuming program, maybe you're coming to do nursing, you're coming to do any course that is going to require your time, you need to go to the lab, you need to look after your specimens in case you're coming to do like a research work, or you're coming to do any course that is very, very time consuming. Knowing how time consuming the program you're coming to do is, it kind of like prepares you on you actually do not have time. So any little time you have, it's either you are in school or you are out there like trying to make your urgent 2k to be able to sustain yourself in school. So you kind of like get you prepared on what to experience, when you finally come here. So the program you're coming to do plays an important role in terms of saving good money, because you need time to be able to work. Okay, so it kind of like tells you like the amount of time you have at hand to be able to do that job, to be able to make good money for yourself. The next factor I'm going to be mentioning is the rent. I've kind of like chipped it in one of the factors I previously mentioned. Now, if you're coming here, maybe back home you are living like in a very big house, you are flexing, your house was big, you have all the space, you can spin around without even touching the wall or touching anything. Okay, when you come here, if you have plans of using your earnings to support yourself in school, like aka paying your tuition yourself, you should learn to cut your coat according to your size. In short, if you can cut your coat in a way that is going to be too tight to even fit you, like be a miser. It's as simple as that. Mice. Look for accommodation that you can comfortably pay the rent by yourself. Your family may be like, okay, we've paid your tuition, now go to Canada, work and pay your rent. Even for that 1 year they've settled your tuition. If you understand what I mean, you may have to like work to be able to pay your rent yourself. So what I'm trying to say here is that make sure you find an apartment that you can be able to pay the rent. Okay, now to also chip in this rent factor, in terms of your phone plan, because when you come to Canada you have to like have a phone plan. What I mean by phone plan is every month you pay like for your calls and your SMS. Make sure you choose like a very good package that you can afford by yourself. Don't go and choose like a package of $200, a package that you'll be struggling to pay. Okay, like I said, cut your coat according to your side. Focus on the price. The price is for you to be able to save up and pay your tuition yourself. Is it doable? Yes, it's doable, but you need to be able to cut your expenses, cut it so much that you'll be able to save good money towards your tuition. Another factor again on my list is how much do you spend on food. I'll always advise people, when you're going to a new country, whether you're coming to Canada or you're going to any country, please make sure you travel with enough food stuff. Okay, so you don't come here or you don't go to that country and be in a position whereby you have to use your money to buy food. All these things increases your expenses. All these things would make you spend money that you don't even want to spend. So make sure you come with enough food stuff. For example, me, when I moved to Canada last year September, I'm going to 1 year here in Canada. I still have my food stuff from Nigeria. Not like I don't eat or anything. Any opportunity my family sees to send me food stuff here, they send me food stuff. Even if you don't have the opportunity of sending food stuff from Nigeria, I still have the food stuff I came with, my egusi. I still have all those things. Okay, I don't eat too much. I live on my own. I'm not sharing my food with anybody. I'm not saying you should not eat. Okay, come with enough food stuff so that you know that period that your family has paid your tuition, you don't have any business visiting any African store to spend money unnecessarily. You know that this money you are working for, you are making, you are using this money to put towards your tuition. Another factor I'll be mentioning is don't be lazy. You see, laziness can cost you a lot of things. Don't move with the mentality, oh, I'm going to paradise where milk and honey is flowing, I don't have to work. You know what your plans are. You know how you intend making your tuition. You know how you intend saving more money to be able to sustain yourself in this new country. You already know what you know the drill, you sort of know the drill. So don't be lazy. Work. Okay, work. Don't be like, oh, today you see shit available, oh, I'm tired, I want to sleep. Honestly, when you finish your program, you have enough time to sleep. When you finish your program, you have enough time to sleep. Pick up as much shift as you can, but please don't get to that point of being burnt out. Still find that time you can sleep and enjoy yourself, take a nap and all that. Eat good food, But please, laziness has never paid anyone. Be up and doing, like be very, very sharp. At work, in my place of work, there are times my colleague will be like, oh, they cannot come to work, can you cover my shift? I look at my schedule. If I don't have anything doing, I will, yes, please, I can cover your shift, and I pick the shift. So be willing to able to work overtime, be willing to able to pick up shifts, and also be the kind of person that knows how to multitask, so that it's not, you are not trying to make more money while your education is suffering, which is the reason why you actually came here. You came here to study. So make sure you try to like find a balance. You're making good money and your grades are also doing well. Okay, guys, another factor I'll be mentioning is having a backup plan. Having a backup plan is very, very important. Let's say, for example, you are here, you are not lazy, you are working hard. Maybe, for example, you are doing nursing or any course that is taking so much of your time, and you don't really have the time to work so much. You are working, but you cannot really work as much as you can. Okay, make sure you have a backup plan, that even if, let's say, you have 5,000 Canadian dollars saved already, and you have maybe 2,000 Canadian dollars to add up to have to pay your tuition. Okay, make sure there is someone back home that you can reach out to. Maybe there is someone you can even borrow from, that, you know, if the person can let you borrow from them, you can borrow from them. Or just have a backup plan, sort of, that can support you if something does not work out as planned, so you can always like complete your tuition and pay. Having a backup plan is very, very important. I know it's good to have God can raise somebody to help you, but having that someone that can help you in case, I don't know if you understand, in case something goes south, is very important, because there are situations whereby you will come to Canada, or you move to that country you plan on moving to, and you don't get a job immediately. Even if that your first year tuition has been paid, or that your first semester tuition has been paid, and you come here, time is already going. Days are passing by. Now, every day you miss without working and not getting paid, you're already losing days. Let's say you need some money to complete your tuition, that your backup plan can come through for you and help you to complete this tuition. So having a backup plan is very, very important, guys. The next factor I'm going to be mentioning in this video is having a side hustle. Any country you are going to, even if it's not Canada, please do not move to that country without having a side hustle. Know how to do one thing or the other. Let's say you come to Canada and you have a side hustle. The amounts of money people make from making hair, I said this thing in my last video or my last two videos. The amount of money you make from making hair, from being a painter, makeup artist, they make good amounts of money. And if you are now very good on top of that, and you are in a community or you are in a city whereby there are lots of students, there are lots of Africans, or there are lots of Nigerians where you are, honestly, you're going to make, in short, the amounts of money you'll be making from that your side hustle, from your skill, will be much more than the money you are making from that job you are going to. Okay, have a skill, have a plan. If you're coming to Canada and you know that the job you want to do is to be a hairstylist, and be able to save your tuition by making people's hair, make sure while choosing a school, choose a school that is in a city whereby there are lots of other schools in that city. A school or a city whereby there are lots of young population. There are people that this market is targeted to, people that you can make good money from. Understand? Don't go to a city whereby there are lots of old people, or there are lots of indigenous, or there are lots of indigenous people, or lots of white people. You may not be able to make good money without your skill. For example, like I said, if braiding hair or being a makeup artist is your thing, this is your strong point. This is how you intend making your money. Okay, make sure you are going to a city that has a lot of young population, a lot of Africans that can patronize your business and make good money, and also be able to put yourself out there. Make sure to be able to advertise your business, talk to people about your business, so that you can be able to make this good money to be able to support your tuition. And this can be a side hustle for you. You can also have like another job that you can go to, like work part-time. Main job that brings the money back home is your skill. So have a skill before moving here. The answer to this question: can you work as an international student and use your earnings to pay your tuition? My answer is yes. Yes and yes. But the thing there is, you need to plan. you need to plan. Make your plans from the very beginning, from the time you made the decision to come to Canada, from the time you are searching for school, the province to go to, your side hustle. Make sure you put all these things into consideration before moving. Check out my last two videos of where I talked about the jobs you can easily get as an international student, the side hustles, how much you can make hourly doing these side hustles, how much you can make, to support yourself as an international student. Make sure to check out that video because that video is very, very detailed. Yes, you can pay your tuition with your earnings as an international student. Not because the minimum wage in a particular province is like $15 an hour does not mean you should settle for a $15 an hour job, okay? Make sure to be able to aim higher. If you are doing a job and that job is paying, let's say for a start, you're earning $15 an hour, always be on a lookout for a job that you qualify for and for a job that will pay you higher. Even if your parents are the ones sponsoring your tuition, don't keep yourself in a job. Make sure to always look out for a job that will always pay you higher. You need to make more money to be able to support yourself, right? You can always change jobs as much as you want. If you see a job that has a higher pay and you are qualified for it and it's something you can do while going to school, sure, you can always look out for it and apply, and by God's grace you get the job. Guys, I've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I'm going to catch you guys in my next video. Okay, please subscribe because it helps me grow. Subscribe now. Bye.